Hello, Miss. I'm Ashwitra Ravi, metric number MC250132904. Today, I will be presenting Bernice Chaulys novel titled Once We Were There. This novel explored the intersection of political unrest, personal trauma, and identity in 1990s Malaysia through the eyes of a journalist named Bernice Regia. Once We Were There is set during Malaysia Reformasi era in the 1990s, time marked by political instability and protests. This novel focuses on three major elements. First, political unrest, capturing the national upheaval and protest movement of that time. Second, personal trauma, showing how Dell, a journalist, is deeply affected by the political and social chaos. Last, themes explore. The novel discusses justice, motherhood, loss, and resilience, revealing how personal life are shaped by societal events. Cowley highlights how personal experiences are never separate from politics, they are always connected. Let me introduce the central character, Delonix Regia, or Del. Del is a bold, spirit journalist and activist. She lives in Kuala Lumpur, right in the heart of the Reformasi movement. Her journey is filled with courage but also tragedy. Cowley presents Del as both as product and a critic of environment. She is educated, urban, and cosmopolitan, yet deeply aware of the inequalities around her. Belle is a deeply layered character. Let's explore her in three dimensions. First, physical and social. Dell is stylish, confident, and urban. Her middle class background and education give her an advantage in observing and reporting on society. Second, psychological. She is resilient and justice driven, but under her strong exterior is deep vulnerability. Her empathy is both her greatest strength and also her weakness. Finally, strengths and weakness. Dell is loyal and passionate about activism. However, she battles with self doubt, substance abuse, and emotional instability. Many of her struggles stem from trying to suppress her pain. In summary, Once We Were There is not just a story about politics, it is also about personal survival, human struggle, and resilience. Bernice Cowley' portrayal of Dell reflects the challenges many face in a time of national crisis. Thank you for listening.
Hi ma'am, my name is Michelle Manimaran, matrix number UN25000083. I'll be continuing what my partner left. I'll be presenting on Delonix Regia's character development, her motivation goals, and the conclusion of the novel. Dell's development story is the emotional core of Once We Were There novel. We first met her as an idealistic, passionate journalist. Now she believes in truth, justice, and the power of activism. The Reformasi movement inspired her so much. She started writing articles, attending protests, and threw herself into both love and revolution with a fiery energy. But as the story unfolds, Dell transforms, and her transformation is not clean, or simple as that. It became very messy, painful, and deeply human. A major turning point comes with the birth of her daughter, Alba. Motherhood really changes Dell's life. It makes the political and the personal mix together. Suddenly, she's no longer just a fighting lady for justice in society. She became a fighting person to create a safer world for her child. But this joy also brings some vulnerability to her life. Every danger now feels more real because she has a life to protect. Then come the most heartbreaking moment, Alba's abduction. It breaks Dell. She spiraled into grief, into addiction, into deep emotional isolation. Where she once had a clear purpose in her life, now she's just trying to survive. The woman who once reported on other people's trauma became the subject of it herself. Yet, Chloe doesn't leave her there. Dell begins slowly, very slowly, and heal. Her recovery is not perfect. She struggles with guilt and depression, but she started to write again. Through storytelling, she finds her voice back. Writing became a way of resisting despair and reclaiming control. This brings me to her motivations. In the beginning of the novel, Dell is driven by a desire to expose corruption and amplify the voices of the marginalized. Her journalism is her activism. But once Alba enters the picture, Dell's goals shift. Justice is still important, but now it's also about love, about protecting her family. And after Alba's disappearance, Dell's motivation became more about survival, about healing, about trying to find meaning in the world that no longer makes sense for her. These evolving goals push the plot forward and reflect the broader themes of the novel. How the personal and the political life are never really separated. Finally, in conclusion, Delaunay's Regia represents the heart of Once We Were There novel. Through her, Cowley explores trauma, resilience, motherhood, and justice. Dell is not perfect. She's very vulnerable. She makes mistakes. She even breaks down, but she also keeps going forward. She keeps writing, and through her writing, she keeps resisting. The novel doesn't offer us a clean ending, but that's the point. Dell's story reflects reality, the messiness, the painful, the complication in our life, and yet within all of that, there is strength, there is survival, and there is hope in everyone's life. Thank you, man.